All right, the Jets are on the clock for the 2026 NFL Draft. All eyes are going to be on Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn as they try and find the quarterback of the future, or maybe not. Our sports columnist for the New York Post, Steve Serby, is on, shaking things up a little bit with his mock draft 2.0. You actually don't have the Jets taking the future at number 2 in a certain position, but let's go. You're on the clock right now, Serby. Your mock draft 2.0. Go. The Jets select who from where?
Arvell Reese, linebacker slash edge from Ohio State. The total package, the Jets need help at off-ball linebacker. They need help at edge. This guy can do both. 6'4", 243, the perfect fit, the perfect mentality, the perfect guy for the culture that Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are trying to create. And look, Quincy Williams probably won't be back. Don't expect him back. So this guy will be a day one starter for Aaron Glenn. Just you can't pass up a guy like this, and that's why I had him at number 2 to the Jets.
But can he reset a franchise? At number 2, you have to bring in a potential future Hall of Famer. I understand Fernando Mendoza is going to go to the Vegas Raiders, so that doesn't leave the Jets with a sexy option at number 2 in terms of quarterback. But there's no quarterback you feel as though is in this draft that can justify going number 2 overall.
No, the quarterback the Jets would have taken or should have taken would have been Dante Moore from Oregon, but he's going back to school. Now, I know he had that big flop in the playoffs, but his upside is so enticing that the Jets would have had to pick him at number 2. But now the next best quarterback is Ty Simpson from Alabama, and he is not, according to all the experts, not worthy of the number 2 pick.
But could he be the J.J. McCarthy, the Bo Nix-esque type quarterback that right now in the evaluation period, we don't think he is the second or third or a top 10 type quarterback in this draft? Could he be that next one to fall, or to get that late hype to go and get drafted in that top 10 situation?
I don't think he'll be a top 10 pick. I had the Jets passing on him at number 16. I think he'll go later in the first round, perhaps to the Steelers, with Aaron Rodgers being wooed back by Mike McCarthy, perhaps to the Rams, who will need a quarterback of the future, with this likely being 38-year-old Matthew Stafford's last year. But I had the Jets opting for a wide receiver at number 16, okay. Denzel Boston, okay. Who is a 6'4", 210-pound target for whoever the quarterback the Jets trot out in 2026. But Simpson is not a top 10 pick, and it's debatable whether he's a top 20 pick. He's a guy that would have to sit for a year, ideally a redshirt year, behind either an Aaron Rodgers, let's say, or a Matthew Stafford.
Let's talk about Denzel Boston. He reminds me of Drake London with a mix of Brandon London in there. Serby, I had to throw that in there. But yeah, Denzel Boston, Garrett Wilson on the other side, potentially Breece Hall in the backfield, Mason Taylor at tight end. Denzel Boston going into that Frank Reich offense, he could do a lot of damage, and that's a great value pick, especially there at 16, Serby.
Yeah, now I've seen him compared, other than the comparisons to Brandon London, I've seen him compared to Cortland Sutton and even Mike Evans coming out. Evans is a little bit taller, 6'5", maybe a little bigger, a little heavier, but he'd be a nice target for the quarterback of the present and future for the Jets.
All right, you got 2 and 16 all wrapped up. But let's say, because these drafts are so unpredictable, especially from now until it's time for them to actually call these names out, do you have an unpredictable trade scenario that could happen? And what would the Jets do then in this scenario?
Well, they have so many draft picks, they can afford to move around the board. But what I would do, they need a quarterback. I think we're all in agreement. They need a quarterback for 2026. The 2027 draft class is loaded with quarterbacks. So in the meantime, give up a third round pick for Mac
Yeah.
Jones.
Why not? Since you have all that draft capital, especially with it being heavy in the first 2 rounds, a third round, you can kind of gamble on a third round pick. But I don't see the fan base getting behind that choice of bringing in a mediocre quarterback. I think right now it's all or nothing. Like it has to be an all or nothing situation, you know.
Well, then it's nothing. Who's going to be your quarterback?
Well, that's why I thought they would identify that JJ McCarthy or that, you know, that Bo Nix-esque type quarterback that could step in with a veteran play caller and Frank Reich that could come in, pick up a playbook, and if you and be serviceable enough. So, you know,
Well, look,
but tease your 3.0, Serby. Tease your 3.0.
the what? I'm sorry, Brandon, what?
Tease your 3.0, your mock draft 3.0 as well.
Oh, okay. We'll do that in 3.0. But look, Muji and Glenn, I think whether they should pursue a veteran, experienced quarterback, and they should also draft one. You should always take swings in the draft for quarterbacks when you need one.
For sure. For sure. All right, Serby. Appreciate you. And we'll be getting to your 3.0 very soon.
Thank you, Brandon.